Okay, here's my audience pan. I have 3 in-person members and 2 over Google Hangout. Okay, everybody think about what you ate last night for dinner, or maybe what you ate this morning for breakfast, and think about the food content of that meal. Did you have animal products? Did you have meat? Anything like that? Now think about the cost of that meal, the monetary cost to you at the grocery store, the cost of your time that you spent cooking it, maybe, or even buying it, the cost to maybe a diet. But now think about what the actual cost of that food was. It turns out, if you were eating animal products, the cost of that meal was far greater than you may have imagined. For years, humans have been hunting animals for their meat, have utilized them for dairy products and such, and we have always considered those products that those animals can give us to be a form of sustenance. We have never questioned the synonymous nature of life and food. But now, in our modern society, and the way that the animal product industry causes harm to our world, to animals, and to us, we can conclude that being a vegan is the most morally sound diet. Eating animal products does more harm than it could ever do good. Today I'm going to hopefully answer the following questions for you. Why do we need veganism? What is so bad about eating animal products? Why should you become a vegan? And how should you go about becoming a vegan? Hopefully you can take your answers, my answers to these questions home, and you can reflect on them and give yourself your own answers to these questions and think about your own lifestyle and if you are going to make a change in that lifestyle. The first facet of society that consuming animal products does harm on is the environment. This is a more obscure effect of eating animal products. Not a lot of people understand the harm that it really does to the environment. Meat production can account for the leveling of about 80% of the Amazon rainforest. It wastes 15 trillion gallons of water, provides 130 times as much waste as that of the entire American population. It also contributes to 51% of all global greenhouse gases and 37% of all methane emissions. Methane is a toxic gas that is 20 times as harmful to the environment and to the process of global warming as CO2. So you can imagine how much harm is actually being contributed to the environment with one single hamburger that you might eat, one single chicken patty, even milk that you buy. All of those products are just as harmful as the next to the environment, and it does more harm than you may have otherwise realized. The second facet of society, you could say, that consuming animal products hurts are animals. This is a more obvious harmful effect of consuming those products. Cows, pigs, chickens, all of those animals are put in horrendous situations, and they're practically tortured before they're slaughtered. Even before they're killed, they're in horrendous situations that no living creature should ever have to be exposed to. The animal product industry kills 59 billion animals a year, and before they're killed, they are harmed. They're put in uncomfortable situations, small pens where they can't even move around. Their young are separated from them. All of these animals have feelings, just as you and I do, and we are knowingly inflicting this harm upon them. Animals like chickens are fed antibiotics, and they are grown unnaturally large, so much so that their chicken legs break and they die because they're not able to move to get to food. They starve to death. Young calves are put in pens so small that they can't move around, so that their muscles are nice and tender, their meat is nice and tender for consumption of higher caliber, I guess you could say, meat. Cows who are producing milk are also kept in similar constrained situations. All around, just terrible living situations for a living creature before they're slaughtered, not even taking into account the actual slaughtering. Also, human health is a large counter-argument to veganism. Lots of people think that you can't get the appropriate nutrients that you need. They use the argument that we've evolved eating meat. And yes, that is true. As I said at the beginning, we have evolved consuming meat, but that is just the thing, humans evolve. And in our current climate, in modern society, we have to evolve now, because this animal product industry is, like I said, doing more harm than good. It is possible to get all of the essential nutrients that you need from a plant-based diet. This is the vegan food pyramid, similar to a regular food pyramid, you could say. You're getting all of your carbohydrates, all of your essential fats, all of the nutrients, vitamins that you need from these foods. It just takes a little bit of educating on that if you wish to take up this diet. And finally, for sustainability, we have to switch to veganism. All of the statistics that I've stated earlier in the presentation contribute to this unsustainable nature of our existence. The human race is putting so much harm, so much stress on our environment, on other creatures. The rate that it's going at, we can't sustain it for long. For future generations of humans, we need to take into account what we're doing now so they can have a high quality of living later on in life. Your great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren may be born into a world where they can't breathe the air. It's too toxic. And a huge part of that is consuming animal products, contributing to this animal product industry is harming our environment, which furthermore harms the sustainability of our existence, which furthermore harms future generations of humans. So again, let's revisit the 4 questions that I asked at the beginning of the presentation. Why do we need veganism? It's clear that we need veganism to stop all of the harm to our environment, to stop harm to animals, to help ourselves be more healthy, and to take into account future generations of humans for the sanctity of their existence. What's so bad about eating animal products? All of the same answers apply. It's more harmful than it can do good for you. When you're eating chicken or meat or milk and you're thinking, this will be great protein for me, this will be great calcium for my body, you can get all of that without contributing to this harm. It doesn't need to be a sacrifice. There doesn't need to be a sacrifice there. We need to do this for the environment, for animals, for our own health, and for our own future. As I said, veganism is incredibly important for all of these things. Analyze what you're eating. Revisit that question, what did you have last night for dinner? What did you have this morning for breakfast? And now think about the actual cost of that food that you were eating. Is it worth it? I can guarantee you that it's not worth it. And in order to live a cruelty-free life, these are all things that we have to take into consideration. I urge you, become a vegan today. Look up great cookbooks for vegan foods. Look up the vegan food pyramid, which I showed here, which shows you exactly what you need to be eating. There are ways to get everything that you need from this diet without putting others at harm, without putting the environment at harm. Start small. You can start transitioning with vegetarianism, then filter out the rest of the dairy products. Then take bigger steps. Maybe just go tomorrow without eating any animal products. The next day, maybe put something else back in. Next day, take it all out again. Slowly work your way up to a diet that you don't have to know is actively causing harm. Become a vegan today for all of these reasons. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Yes.
How do you get protein when you're vegan?
There are lots of different foods that you can eat for protein. That's a good question. You can eat quinoa. Quinoa is actually a complete protein, which means it has the 20 amino acids to have full protein. So there are absolutely ways to get protein without eating meat. Any other questions?
Yes, you mentioned vegetarianism. Would that have the same impact, becoming a vegetarian?
It is a great way to transition to veganism, but unfortunately people who become vegetarians substitute more dairy products into their lives rather than skipping, so it comes out to be the same amount of harm. Whether you're eating dairy products or meat, all of those things contribute to everything that I've just talked about. So if you're going to become a vegetarian and you just don't eat meat, you might then, instead of having chicken, aim for yogurt or something, which in the end has the same amount of harm. So to answer your question, it, to begin with, may be a great idea, but then as you start to work up to veganism, you might as well just try and be a full vegan if you're doing it for these reasons, which you maybe should be. All right, well, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you can think about your diets.